Hello. Good evening. British, American and Afghan forces are on the brink of one of the biggest assaults yet against the Taliban. Defence Secretary Bob Ainsworth has warned us there will be British casualties as part of Operation Moshtarak in Afghanistan. One of its major targets is the town of Marja, around 15 miles west of the provincial capital, Lashkargah. The town and its surrounding villages have a population of more than 100,000, but for years the area has been dominated by rival militias who vie for control of the lucrative drugs trade. James Hurst has tonight's top story.
Some people are already on the move from Marja. The message that troops are coming seems to have got through.
We left our village because of the upcoming fighting and bombardment. I want to save the lives of my children and the rest of my family.
The hope is that some of those who leave will be people who might have fought but have decided not to. This offensive is planned in Helmand's green zone, just south of Dari, to clear Taliban from Marja. It's been compared to Operation Panther's Claw in Babaji last summer. The idea to eventually create a clear corridor through the area. Afghan forces have been preparing for the operation alongside NATO troops. This is billed as the biggest joint operation yet between ISAF and local forces.
What we are looking to here for this is to send a strong signal to the Afghan people that the Afghan government is expanding its security control.
Yesterday, 2 soldiers from the Royal Scots Borderers, 1st Battalion, the Royal Regiment of Scotland, were killed by an explosion near Sangin. Their deaths were not related to Operation Moshtarak. 255 British personnel have now died in Afghanistan, equalling the toll of the Falklands War. With Operation Moshtarak imminent, there have been warnings of more casualties to come, along with a promise that everything possible will be done to minimise them.
The way that this operation has been conducted, the fact it has been signalled in advance, the fact that the Afghans have been at the heart of the sort of planning and the conduct, and I'm not just talking about the military, I'm talking about the Afghan government. We're hoping that this can happen in at least as aggressive way as possible.
Ultimately, there are 2 goals to this operation, not only to clear Taliban fighters from Marja, but also to show that Afghan forces are growing in strength.
And James is in the studio with me now. James, do we know when the combat phase of this operation will begin?
The only official word on that at this stage is soon. Now, while the location broadly for the assault is still secret, or is well known, the timing still is very much secret. The military preparations do appear to be well underway, and our reporter Kyle Lark is following developments in Kandahar.
Well, planning and preparations have been taking place here at Kandahar airfield for several weeks. This is where a huge majority of the ISAF aircraft are based. As we know, what the military calls shaping operations have been taking place, which have seen the infantry go in to the ground around the town of Marja in southern Helmand. They've been receiving an awful lot of support from the air assets that are based here for what is known as ISR, that's intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance. So things like the Reaper, the unmanned aerial vehicle, and the Tornadoes with their Raptor pod. Now they fly very high and they take a collection of images and video of the ground below, and that's fed back to the commanders on the ground to help them better inform and plan their operations. Other things that will also be supported from here are things like the Chinooks will be involved with troop movements, and the Hercules will be involved in airdrops, so resupply of things like ammunition and rations to the guys on the ground. It saves convoys having to go in and the risk of IEDs in the area. Now the mood here is very much one of anticipation, as this is expected to be the biggest counterinsurgency operation that's happened in Afghanistan since the conflict began.
Kyle Lark in Kandahar. Now, while we have seen some people moving out of Marja, there are reports from Afghanistan of Taliban fighters digging in ready. Estimates around 1,000 of them when the combat operation does begin. They will face thousands of US Marines, British troops and soldiers from other nations, and we are told at least 2,700 members of the Afghan National Army. Kate.
James, thank you.